So the last letter today, finally, is the first letter of John. Why this letter is attributed to John? Because the writer's name is not mentioned in the letter, and as I did a fast scan, well, I used a concordance searcher. There is not the mention of John's name even in the second and third letter attributed to him. So somebody could explain that to me. I'm sorry, something got into my nose. This is the last of the letters what has a usable length. The rest are what, half a page? So I don't know if there will be anything that can be disproved or proved for this fact. Well, this letter at least tells who he addresses. It seems to be the Christians, but not all Christians, just the male Christians. So let's move on. What it contains. What is its contents? You have to be officially Christian, or it doesn't matter if you claim yourself to be a Jesus believer. You will still be judged. I mean, damned after the judge, or punished, or whatever it comes after that. Yeah, this is the famous letter of the sinless sinners, because in chapter 2.12 it says that every sin for people who entered into Christendom is got forgiven. In the chapter 3.6 it says that a real Christian never commits a sin, and in chapter 5.18 it says if you are of God, you cannot at all commit sin. It is not possible. Now in chapter 1.8 to 10 it says that if Christians would say that they are sinless, then they would lie, what suggests they are sinners, but that could be explained where in verse 8 of chapter 1 it said that. In verse 9 it says it is impossible that Christians would not commit a sin. No, that's in verse 10. Oh well, it's all in the chapter 1 verses 8 to 10 that it is impossible. In the end, it is impossible for a Christian to not commit sin. So there is this contradiction that Christians, in this letter, that Christians cannot commit sin and Christians cannot not commit sin. So this letter shoots itself on the foot, just like my tongue. Yeah, you see. Don't do bad things. If you do that, Jesus will, just like a mafia boss, take care of that, so you won't be punished. There is this. Jesus died for all the world's sin. Well, it seems to, if you explain in the context, it could be understand at best, I think, is that he rejects that only by blood you can be a believer, unlike in the Old Covenant, most part of the Old Covenant. it also mentions that you have also act good. Salvation is not just by faith. Don't love the world. Well, it seems to contradict the the thing that in John's Gospel, chapter 3.16, God loves the world, but you know the literal and the spiritual meaning can be differed for these both too. So there is an apologist explanation for that, the contradiction. Now the last thing I wish to mention, although there is a thing that the devil, being the Satan, also appears here, and many other things that if you are not a KJV onlyer, then you could check the Gaspar Carolli's version, where it says in this letter, not like in the KJV what says it is the last time, but in Carolli says it is the last hour. So if you remember back, the mentioned that the apologists claim that one day of God, for God is 1,000 years of humans. What is anyway a useless claim, as not a time period was mentioned for the coming of for the second coming, like soon or in days or years, but that Jesus' listeners' lifetime, what is a very other thing, that you can count with this, that one day 1,000 years, so 1 hour is one pair divided by 24. One day has 24 hours, so if you divide 1,000 with 24 hours, you get 41 point almost 7 years. So at very best, before the end of the 2nd century BC, Jesus' second coming should have happened. Thank you very much. And where there is that thing that God is love, but I suggest you should watch instead Prof. MTH's video in YouTube, or you should visit my blog where I gave the references for that in the last of the blog entry. So even it is not in English, you can work with the reference numbers. Thank you for watching.